debates.
Wow.
I'm working on it. Okay, let's bring him up. Hello and welcome to Trivial Debates, the ultimate pop culture challenge. Welcome to the beginning of Series 24 or Series 4, because now it is 2021. I'm Eamon Mader, and I will be your host today. We have some awesome new debates this year, but also this month. In this show, our panelists will be judged based on their scores for their arguments on facts, passion, and creativity. Our panelists this week are, from left to right, Chris Seymour.
Woo!
Next, Jason Doan.
Doan.
Jason Doan.
Hello. So glad to be here. Thank you very much.
And Jody Simpson.
I believe it's reigning champion Jody Simpson.
Actually, no, Chris is the reigning champion.
No, he's not. I have so many more than him.
Yeah, but he won
I'm
last
the all-time
time,
greatest,
so...
baby.
It goes by most recent, not by...
Oh, well, if it's more recent.
But also, you heard in the background there's the producer and my dad, David Mader. Yes, I'm here too. Here's how the show works. There are 6 rounds and a speed round. We judge based on 6 rounds for movies, television, music, sports, history, and a wildcard round. Of the 3 panelists, the 2 highest ones then go to a speed round with the same categories but faster questions. We want to be passionate but not personally mean to one another, or at least as much as possible. That doesn't stop Jody from wailing on Chris and Dad, though.
It's true.
Keep in mind that there are time indexes in the description, and you can go to the battles that interest you the most. Let's start.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Please don't sue.
Yeah, I was about to say that's actually technically copyright. All right,
Thanks for worried about us.
Movie category. What movie has the most wasted potential, and what would you do to fix it? And we're gonna start with Jody because he's on the left.
Start with me.
Because you're on the left.
I'm contestant number 3. Anyway, that's fine. All right. The movie that I picked was Solo, A Star Wars Story. Because who doesn't want to see the history of Han Solo, that lovable scamp renegade? This movie was just terrible. It was the only Star Wars movie to ever lose money. And that obviously makes it literally one of the most wasted potentials there is. This movie had a story that started well, ended poorly, and everything in between was just kind of mediocre. And this movie could have been so much better if they just put a little bit more thought. They didn't rush it in. They were trying to get it in between the slots of the major movies.
They always try to get it for Christmas.
Yeah, and it got rushed, and it shows. It also had numerous issues with directors and stuff like that. I think Ron Howard ended up directing it at the end, at least what was left. The movie itself, the talent that was in the movie, especially Donald Glover. Is it Glover? Glover. Yeah, the chap who played what's his name? I've already had too much booze apparently this morning.
Gambino.
Yeah, that guy. But anyway, yeah, he was great in his character. I thought the guy who played Han wasn't too bad. But overall, it's just the movie was just for somebody who is a Star Wars fan, this really just didn't jive. And the whole anthology, story-wise things that they were putting out, such as Rogue One. Rogue One was fantastic. And there's a major difference between the two of them, I thought. And I just think it had a lot of wasted potential. And for a Star Wars movie, like this should have been a win. So I think that's really
that's how all of the Disney trilogy feels, honest to God.
In some scenarios, yeah, for sure.
All right, anyway, that's mine. Now we're going to go to Chris.
Okay, Eamon's already expressed dislike with my choice, but the movie I chose, and I'll tell you my reasons afterwards, is Kill Bill Volume 2. Specifically Volume 2. The reason I chose this movie is because I saw it in the theater. After I saw Kill Bill 1 in the theater, and I was so excited to see Kill Bill Volume 2 because the first one had so much action. It was an exciting movie. Really, I didn't, even half the movie, I didn't even know what was going on. I didn't follow the plot. I don't think anyone did. Volume 2 did bring a lot of the character development, and it brought the storyline all together. But after seeing Kill Bill Volume 1, Volume 2 was just uninspiring to me. They spent like 10 to 20 minutes on every character, developing their characters. They spent way too much time on Master Pei, with the bride, or Beatrix, getting her training, and it was too much dialogue after the first movie and not enough action. It was the end of the movie was very lackluster. The way that she ended up killing Bill with the 5-point death punch or whatever it was, and then he took 5 steps and died. Anyways, I got to tell you how I would fix this movie with my last 5 seconds. What I would do is shave 15 minutes off the first movie, shave 45 minutes off the second movie, make it one movie, and it would have been a masterpiece of a 3-hour movie.
I've seen people do single movie cuts.
Okay.
All right, now we have Jason.
Can't hear
Can't
you.
hear you.
You're muted, Jason.
Sorry about that.
we
Okay,
go.
so minute 30. Look, those answers were fantastic, but for me, it has to be Zack Snyder's Justice League. Oh my God. The DCEU. What a tragic failure across the board. This was supposed to be a landmark movie, right? You take a look at what Marvel did with the building up and the planning and the phases and the everything, and then you look at what the DCEU tried to do in their cinematic universe, and talk about an absolute waste. It is shockingly bad. I'm fully aware that the Snyder Cut is coming out soon in March. I don't know how much that's actually going to save this particular movie. I have a lot of issues as well with other films in this franchise, like Batman versus Superman, which is one of the few movies that I almost walked out of in a theater, which very, very rarely happens. But Justice League for me was just an absolute fail on multiple levels. And if I were to try to find a way to fix it, I would I would actually go back and I would take the formula that Marvel did and I would build upon that, and I would just kind of restart. I think the whole thing needs to almost start from the beginning, redo a bunch of origin stories with a build up into some big massive thing. And I think that would be way better, and just forget that those other movies ever existed, and they could do so much better with the Justice League IP than what they gave us.
All right, excellent. So now we're gonna go to rebuttals.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Let's start with Chris's. Kill Bill Volume 2 is just a continuation of Volume 1. It's one movie that got cut into 2, so I don't even know how this really qualifies. As for, I'm not even going to bother continuing with Chris's. As for Justice League, I do agree with a lot of the points that you've made.
Twice.
What's that? Can't hear him.
What?
Can't hear him.
Hello?
You're lagging.
You're lagging hard. Anyway, let's continue. As for Jason's movie, I wouldn't disagree with Jason. However, this is a movie that I already knew was going to flop hard. The expectations were not high compared to my movie. My movie was wicked high. Everybody was like, "Woohoo! This is the movie that we got to see." Justice League is not a movie that everybody was all into. Everybody was like, it's more DC Universe, yay."
So you're saying,
I think realistically, to have wasted potential, which in this scenario, I do agree with Jason. There's definitely much better ways to make that movie. But if you look at all the stuff that came before it to lead up to that, not great to begin with. Whereas you have stuff like, you have the Star Wars stuff. Well, Star Wars is great. There's obviously some flops within, especially in more recent times, but Rogue One, for instance, which was made by Disney, that was a great movie. I think mine out of all three of these have the strongest point because of the fact that the hype was so high on my movie and it just failed so terribly. And that really is the epitome of what this question is all about is, where is that potential? The potential that was there is gone, which in this scenario, it's a clear winner. It's mine.
I don't believe that I want to see the story of Han Solo. The reason why I and many other people like Han Solo is because he's mysterious. So why am I wrong?
Yeah. Why are you wrong?
Yeah.
Well, you have to realize that you can still stay mysterious and still show some backstory. It's nice to see how he gets to the point that, he's in A New Hope and stuff like that. And that would be nice to see that. And I think you don't have to, you can take away some of the mystery, but you can also keep a lot of it and still manage to tell somewhat of a good story. There's a lot of mysteries in this world when it comes to movies, and a lot of them can keep their mystery even after the credits have started rolling. So to say that, I don't know if I can't say everybody in the world wanted to see Solo. That would be incorrect. But obviously, I think the majority of the Star Wars fan base definitely did. Whereas I heard people bitching about Justice League before it even came out, and these are people that are, DC, veterans basically. And
right.
they just didn't like it.
Okay. I'm going to go to the next question.
You know what? I got to say that I am a Star Wars fan. I have proof of it. I'm actually wearing a Star Wars shirt right now. And I haven't seen Solo. And the reason I haven't seen it is because I don't want to. I don't care. I don't think that there's wasted potential. I don't think there was ever potential there in the first place. I don't think it could have been
disagree
at all. I don't think Solo should be played by anyone besides Harrison Ford. And as for Jason's movie, it's a DC movie. There is never any real expectation for a DC movie. You know what's going to stop going in. You're prepared. You're ready.
All right, Chris.
I want to hear Jason.
Yeah.
Is it 5 minutes collectively or each?
Yeah, collectively.
Oh God! So okay, okay.
You're not on a hard timer here.
All right, so
Jason, you're not on a hard timer here.
Okay,
we can move. We can give you more time if we need.
All right, no problem. So I want to just quickly. So I don't disagree with Jody about the Han Solo movie. I'll agree. I had high expectations for that movie, and I was left pretty disappointed. And I agree. Rogue One for me is almost a gold standard of storytelling. Like it's one of, if not my most favorite Star Wars movies. But I'm going to lay into Chris here. Okay.
Wow.
So there is something that you said in your initial thing, which was too much dialogue. Have you seen Reservoir Dogs? Have you seen Pulp Fiction? Have you seen Inglourious Bastards? Tarantino is all about
his dialogue
and long dialogue and the meatiness of it. And I'm sorry, like there are certain things that I will agree with you in terms of Kill Bill, and maybe it could have been one long 3-hour epic, just like we got with The Hateful Eight being super long, which also I might add had a ton of dialogue.
I've seen every Tarantino movie. I know they've got a lot of dialogue. I'm just saying, after watching the first movie and its action packedness, the second movie was just boring to me.
Look, I will admit that it had some issues, but I don't think in terms of like the choices that we have brought forward to the table today, I don't think that Kill Bill 2 had the most wasted potential out of our 3 selections, as well as in terms of wasted potential for like a Tarantino movie. So
there's way worse.
I have to hard disagree with you. Saying things like too much dialogue in a Tarantino movie, you can't say that and say that you're a Tarantino fan.
There's no point in watching
dead in the water right there with that one sentence.
Just say I didn't need a backstory on characters that really.
All right, Jody and Jason, I want like a 10 to 30 second. What would you do to fix this? Because I didn't really get that from you guys.
So is it okay if I go first, real quick?
Go ahead. Yep.
All right. So I already kind of said it with Justice League, and Jody kind of called me out on the point in terms of like, oh, it's just another DC movie, right? But here's the thing: is that as somebody who's invested in comic book movies and everything that's kind of being built around, and like here's the thing, I own more DC comics than I do Marvel comics. If I was to consider myself religious, Superman would be my Jesus. Like I absolutely love what DC puts out. So even though the movies like the movies before Justice League were not spectacular in any way, shape, or form, right? there's still that hope that you have that, like, okay, they're going to write Superman properly in this. They're going to write, there's certain story elements and story points and story beats that they should be hitting. And it was just absolutely terrible. So yes, I know the question was what movie had the most wasted potential. And I know that I've kind of stretched that into what franchise has wasted the most potential. But I think that when you look at Justice League and what people's thoughts of Justice League and the expectations of, if you are drawing parallels between what Marvel did and what DC has done, I think that sure, there was that sentiment of, yes, it's probably not going to be that great. It's probably going to be dead in the water. But I think there was a lot of people that were still exceptionally hopeful for that movie. And then they watched that movie and we're left with, what in the hell did I just watch? Because that movie was just bad. And it actually made me not want to watch another DC movie for a very long time. I watched Wonder Woman 1984 and it was also bad. But anyways, that's not for today.
I've heard. Okay, on to Jody.
To make my movie better would be to basically not have so many people involved in it. There was too many cooks in the kitchen to begin with this movie. There was too much Disney influence in it, and this is what happened. Disney kind of let Rogue One kind of just be. And, that is a movie that, worked out really well. The problem with this one is they wanted to make this one the lovable scamp. Everybody can see it, the very, very PG, very kid friendly, which is fine. Star Wars kind of is for the most part. There is some stuff that would be questionable, I think, but for the most part, that is it. But the main thing is the story was very bland. You could tell that they didn't know where they were going to begin with, and they didn't know where they were going at the end. And if you want a movie that has potential, you have one of the greatest cinematic characters in history. That everybody knows that name. Everybody knows Han Solo. They just know that name. And to go off and give this type of product out just destroys everything that they're trying to set out to do, which would lead me to believe that, obviously if this was in the hands of somebody else, the potential it would have been skyrocketing. If you gave it to the exact same people that were doing Rogue One, I'm sure they would have gave it much better play.
All right. So I'm going to give the point to Jody because he actually argued the point instead of Jason, who just kind of started reiterating what he was already saying.
Yeah.
I'm so hard on you. Anyway,
okay.
That's fine.
I'm proud of what I delivered with 2 hours.
I think you did great.
Also, each round, I just want to give a quick mention to Ashley Millard, because she couldn't come here, so I just wanted to list her what she picked for each one briefly. For movies, cool. She picked The Last Jedi.
Definitely, I would be with her on that one too.
That's a good one. If she had been here today,
that would have been the next one. I knew Last Jedi was going to be a piece of shit to begin with, so
yeah,
okay.
I was going in thinking that it was going to suck.
Now, Eamon, just a quick time check. We're about where we want to be at the end of the TV round right now. So
move it on.
Running behind. So we'll get 5 minutes for the rebuttal rounds, but you gotta make a decision. And everybody, make sure you split up that time in the 5 minutes equally.
Yeah, I was trying to make sure they were. But yeah.
Okay, let's go.
All right, TV. If you could take a show that does not have a spinoff already and give it a spinoff, what would that show be and what would it be about? And we're going to start with Jason this time.
All right. So for my show, it is a show that it does not even have a full season yet. It has only had 4 episodes, and I think it already deserves a spinoff. And that show is WandaVision. So WandaVision and the spinoff show would be all about FBI agent Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis teaming up to solve random mysteries and occurrences. I don't know if you guys have been watching WandaVision at all, but here's the thing, again, with Marvel, and I kind of talked about before with the previous thing. So if you've watched Ant-Man, or especially Ant-Man and the Wasp, when there's little things that Marvel does in its shows and in terms of continuity that is just so absolutely charming, in these little Easter eggs. So I'll quickly talk. So if you've been watching WandaVision and you saw especially the latest episode, episode 4, you will understand where I'm coming from. the character dynamics between Jimmy Woo, FBI agent Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis, and even Agent Rambo and all that other stuff. The chemistry is there. It is absolutely phenomenal. We got to see Agent Jimmy Woo in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and he was, even though those limited pieces that he had in that particular movie, he was absolutely incredible, really hilarious. And there are I just think it's an excellent recipe for a spin-off show where they just are investigating random things and trying to figure out what's going on. And I think it would be amazing.
All right. Next, we're going to go to Chris.
Okay, my choice was an obvious one, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. This show, everybody loved this show in the 90s. Definitely deserves to have a spinoff. Will Smith right now is actually older than Uncle Phil was when The Fresh Prince first came out. So I think a spinoff would be amazing. I think Will Smith would be the father figure in the new one. I've already got this show planned out. What I think this should be about is Will Smith has finally pulled his shit together, become successful. Maybe he lives in his own mansion and he's got his own kids. He does have his own kids in real life. Maybe they could even be the characters that play in this spinoff. It was such an iconic show that everyone loved, and it was hilarious. And the premise, I think, could be that instead of Will Smith moving from Philadelphia to be with his rich aunt and uncle, maybe this time Will Smith has his own kid who's like a little nerdy, growing up rich with a lot of class. Maybe he needs to go back to inner city Philadelphia to find out where his roots are from. We get to see his son move back and learn the streets while he's this rich kid and he's trying to figure out how to cope with life in inner city Philadelphia.
All right. And I mean, I don't have to say it, but Jody.
That's an intro. I picked a show called Silicon Valley, and Silicon Valley was a show that ran 6 seasons. It was basically about a group of guys who did a startup, obviously, in Silicon Valley and all the turmoil that they can cause and was caused by them. The show itself had a lot of characters that came and gone through the years, which was interesting. I think any of those side characters, generally the VCs, a lot of the people who were investing in the show or investing in the guys in the show could easily have spin-offs series without question, as well as because it was an ensemble group, you could easily cut any of those guys and put them into their own show without a problem. The show itself was great. It ran 6 seasons, very funny. It was a sitcom for the most part. There was some drama in it, but it was mostly a sitcom. Very well done, done by HBO. The show itself, just I think, because of the fact that it was a short run show, like some of the seasons were only 13 episodes, 10 episodes, 7 episodes was the last season. So with that, I think there was so much more stuff that they could easily tell. There's a lot more stories that they could tell, which in this scenario would work well. And I'm going to take my last 15 seconds to say, Chris, what the fuck are you on? And as for Jason, WandaVision has the 2 most least likable characters in the Marvel universe in one fucking show. So I don't know why anybody would want to watch that, but anyway, that's fine.
All right, time for rebuttals. I mean, since you're already going, Jody, do you want to start?
Sure. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot. Number one, this is a show that came out in the 90s and
I didn't say
age
reboot.
well.
Spinoff.
I don't care. There's no need for a spinoff in this show. This show ran far too long to begin with. The show itself was mediocre at the end to begin with. The cast, obviously, if you're going to do a spinoff, it's going to have to be just a spinoff. Whoa, my camera is shaking like nuts. It's going to have to be a spinoff that, kind of like what you said there, but I have no interest in seeing Will Smith on TV anymore. I barely have interest seeing him in movies. We don't need this character anymore. This character is far past old to begin with. So I can't say too much about your spinoff other than I would never watch it in a lifetime. As for Jason's pick, WandaVision obviously is the kind of popular MCU show right now. There's a lot of talk about different shows that are coming out. I don't know why anybody greenlit greenlit this show. I really don't. I got through part of the first episode and said, "Fuck it, I'm done." This is not a show that I thought was great. Now, I'm not saying that you're an idiot for liking it. I'm certainly
all right. Next 15 seconds, Jody, so that we can get to the other.
I'll just finish up. But as for the show, I can't see it having any staying power, and I have no idea why you would ever want to spin off a show that only has 4 episodes already.
All right, Chris.
Well, Jody, I've never actually seen your show, but I didn't hear you describe what a spinoff would be about and why.
I definitely did, but anyway, that's fine.
Okay, anyways. And as for WandaVision, like seriously, I haven't watched it yet. I wasn't planning on watching it. It's only 4 episodes in, so
yeah.
Saying that you want a spinoff already, I think it's kind of premature. Let's at least see if the show gains some traction. Like my show had millions of viewers. Actually, my show had a reunion not that long ago, which is actually still on Netflix. You can still watch it. Got really high reviews. Tons of people watched the reunion show. So I think a spinoff would attract a huge crowd, a huge audience. It's a spinoff. I mean, the only character I'm taking over is going to be Will Smith himself. I'm not going to take over Carlton and Viv and Ashley and Hillary and all them. No, because that's done. I want a true spinoff with just Will Smith and his family now.
So for me, in terms of spin-off, like spin-off is not about a spin-off of the main characters, right? So I'm hearing you guys talking about WandaVision. My spin-off is not about WandaVision. My spin-off
is a spin-off.
Yeah, you could say that, but I mean, but it's the fact that when you look at who these characters are, and here's the thing, guys, like there are other shows that are now doing these sorts of things, and there are producers and whatnot that are gauging audience reactions.
So Jason,
all of this is The Mandalorian. All right, so Mandalorian.
Jason, sorry, I literally know nothing about your show. I need you to tell me what's it about.
So WandaVision takes place it takes place just after the snap. And it's really hard to explain without being too spoilery, but like there is weird stuff going on where it's going through, each episode is going through like a different era. It's really, really hard to explain in a very limited time frame. But my spinoff is about these secondary and tertiary characters that are in this show that have really small parts, but the sum of their parts together, I think, has the chance to be something amazing. So just to go back to my previous point about like the Mandalorian, right? So in the Mandalorian season 2, we got a couple of episodes with like these Republic Space Rangers that were basically showing up every once in a while. And guess what? We are now getting a New Republic like Space Rangers type show that is in the pipeline now. So just with those small little couple minute cameos, we are now getting spin-offs because based on what I'm assuming is audience reaction. And I think that what Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis represented in the most recent episode of WandaVision, I think there is absolutely potential there for either a TV series or to have like even small little web episodes, because there is a precedent.
I'm gonna have to cut you off, Jason. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. I am going to give my pick to Chris. Because when I heard Chris's pick, I was for a second there, I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. I'd watch that. And actually, I do agree with Chris, Jody. You gave ideas for what the spinoff would be about, but you didn't have a specific idea.
Well, I'm not in a pitch meeting, guys. I'm in a fucking web podcast. Like, fuck. Anyway, that's fine.
Where are your slides, Jody?
I don't have slides, okay? I could have put slides up on the back screen here, but, I didn't.
It would have.
I got space scenes right now.
It would have been over.
I was with Jason on that answer. I was. I know what he's talking about.
I'm sorry, but I literally know nothing about
4 episodes in. How did you think anybody was going to
have heard
greenlight a spinoff?
I literally don't know anything about his character, so it's hard for me to judge.
We saw Republican Space Rangers for 5 minutes in Mandalorian, and
we're not talking about the Mandalorian, though.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, my
Mandalorian. If you're so much in love with it, fuck. Anyway, let's move on.
Ashley picked DS9, and I realized, wait, DS9's a spinoff, so she was going to say Supernatural.
Well, if we're discounting spinoffs, then automatically Jason would be out. This is a spinoff.
Okay, listen, it was. I didn't want to tell him 2 hours before because this was a stand.
I would have. I'm heartless. Anyway, let's move on.
What would it be? Mostly natural?
Music. What music? What band or artist that most people like do you hate and why? We'll start with Chris.
Okay. My pick for this one I don't know if you guys like the band or not, but a lot of people do, is Prince. The reason I don't like Prince is because none of his songs really catch me. They're not something that I want to listen to. When Prince comes on the radio, half the time I don't even realize it's him. Like, I know a few Prince songs. I know, like, Little Red Corvette. I know When Doves Cry. I know Purple Rain. The songs everyone knows. But they're not catchy to me. They're not songs that I find myself sitting at work or walking around my warehouse or walking down the street humming in my head, thinking, I really want to hear that song right now. Because I don't. I honestly never want to hear that song. Prince to me is like, he's kind of in the pop world. To me, he's like a dark version of Michael Jackson. And nobody needs that. Nobody needs a dark version of Michael Jackson. I mean, I admit the guy is talented. The guy can probably play he can probably play the instruments his band member plays better than they can. No denying he's a great musically talented guy, but his songs do nothing for me. Because of that reason, I don't want to listen to him. It's never a good time for me to listen to Prince. I'm never excited about it.
All right, Jody.
I picked The Doors. And the reason why I picked The Doors is because it is mediocre music at best. The guys can fairly play instruments. However, there is way too much overuse of organs. Jim Morrison he was a terrible singer. I don't know why anybody thinks that this is great. Like, I see them always on a list with, like, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and stuff like that. And I think to myself, how can you possibly compare the Beatles to the Doors? Like, these are two different things. You have one talented group and you have the Doors. It's to me, it just, I don't get it. Every song is terrible. People can't name more than one or two of their songs for the most part. And overall, it's terrible organy music that I think the only reason why anybody thinks that it's great is because the guy fucking died early. Like, that's the only real reason. Like, you guys got stuff like Jimi Hendrix and all those type of bands, and way more talent in songwriting, way more talent in pretty much playing the music. Everything about it is better than the fucking Doors. The Doors are terrible. I don't get it.
All right. We are going to go to Jason now.
So I think I misread this question because I think I missed the part about that most people like, and so I ended up picking Bjork. So
yeah, I wouldn't say most people like Bjork.
But here's the thing: is that she had this.
I like Bjork.
She had a lot of. She was very so then this works then because you like her and I really don't. So I remember, like, back in the 90s when she was, like, first coming onto the scene. She's from Iceland. Who isn't weird that comes from Iceland? Like, seriously, She had that crazy swan dress for the 2001 Academy Awards. She's now going to be appearing in this Robert Eggers historical movie called The Northman, set in 10th century Iceland, where she's playing a Slav witch. I'm not so convinced that she isn't already a Slav witch from 10th century Iceland. I think honestly, like, I just like you guys are talking about, like, their music not doing anything for you, like her soft, weird, kitty sing-songy into, like, epic screeching. It reminds me a lot of, like, Yoko Ono, and, like, I've never enjoyed her music. I've never understood people who do enjoy her music. And that's difficult because I enjoy a lot of music. I have very eclectic tastes, and Bjork is just someone I've never been able to get behind or understand why people like her so much, other than, like, if you do like her, it's probably because you're into weird fringe out there music, instead of, being, like, culturally relevant other artists and stuff like that.
All right. I think you all have pretty good picks for this. So let's start with rebuttals. I guess let's do it, Jason, this time.
So I don't know how you can ever say. So here's I'm Chris. I got to come into you again, man, because between, like, this and Tarantino for lots of dialogue, I have to come after you for saying that. Oh my God, I was not expecting to go first.
He picked Prince.
Yeah, Prince. So here's the thing: is that for one of the upcoming things, I almost picked Prince for the most influent for the question that's coming up. So to hear you say the opposite is shocking to me. Like, there is just so much that Prince has done. There is so much of his music that has influenced pop culture and everything else that I don't understand it. And same thing when it comes to the Doors. I can understand not necessarily liking all that 70s like hardcore organ music in the background and whatnot, but like the Doors are a phenomenal band. They are absolutely amazing. I think both of your bands are way more interesting and exciting than friggin' Bjork, the Slavic witch from Iceland. and yeah, I can't get behind your picks.
All right, on to Chris.
Well, I want to rebut that, Jason, because the question was actually, what band do most people like?
I knew
and
you was
I
gonna
hate.
go here.
And you said that Prince was one of your most influential. This just proving my point that most people do like Prince. I don't.
Fair.
The Doors. You have to remember the era that they were in. They were in
I
like,
do, and I remember Jimi Hendrix, and I remember good bands.
They were in the 60s, the 70s. You said people can't remember two of their songs. What about People Are Strange? Love Me Two Times. L.A. Woman.
I said
Hello,
people, not you.
I mean, like, they were an amazing band. They've got a catalog of hits. I turned this.
I wouldn't go that far, but anyway.
Radio. I can actually walk down the street and sing their songs in my head. Bjork, I don't even know if I have to rebut this because most people don't like Bjork. I don't even know.
I'm with Chris on this one.
Bjork. Jody, I'll give you a turn.
All right. I'll make the Bjork one quick. He's already disqualified.
Yeah, I agree.
As for Prince, are you on drugs? I don't know how many more times I have to say this in one day, Chris, but why are you still on drugs?
Again?
Yeah, Prince is one of the highest selling people, one of the highest selling acts in history. Why do you hate him? Why do you hate him? I don't get it.
None of these songs are interesting to me. They don't keep my interest.
That's fine, and not everybody is into this.
They're not memorable songs. They're not songs you can sing along.
Is it all right if I talk for a minute? Is that cool? All right. As for Jason's, as I said, Jason, I'm really sorry. I do like Bjork, but I definitely am not the majority, for sure on that one.
Definitely not.
And Prince, I don't even know what drugs you're on. Like, there's probably millions of people that are watching this, which probably isn't true. But anyway, if there was, they would be pissed off at you right now. More than
a lot of people would also be pissed off at you for saying the Doors, but that's
some people would, and I don't need you to argue my comment. You're the host. As for the my pick being music that isn't very good to begin with, but yet for some strange reason people like it, kind of like Britney Spears. I don't get it. And that is the nature of this question. What's that?
It was the 70s and people were on acid.
That's what I'm saying is that if people are on acid, they'll enjoy it, and the majority of people are not on acid. So I don't know why this is even I'm a winner. It's that simple.
So you're saying the majority of people don't like your band?
Chris, your pick is retarded. As for Jason's, he had kind of an idea, but it didn't really flourish out. So I'm clearly the winner here.
All right.
Let Eamon decide.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. He's the host.
Yeah. I think that Jody said more against the band than Chris did. He actually said that he hates Jim Morrison and he doesn't think the band is exceptionally talented, whereas Chris just said that he was overrated. So I'm giving the point to Jody.
There you go. I would just like to say, and I'm not pandering to the host, but I think he's doing a great job.
Thank you.
Dick.
All right, sports.
I think it's me again, isn't it?
Yeah, it is you. I just didn't ask the question, which was, what is the most overrated sport?
Okay, anybody who knows me already knows what I'm going to pick here because I have a supreme.
Oh, sorry.
I know what you pick.
No, just quickly. Ashley said for music, she said Tragically Hip.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if she would win on that one, but
yeah,
I would have been able to argue that one pretty well.
Yeah, Chris would definitely be good at arguing that one. All right, so we're going to sports now.
Yep.
Can I start?
Yes.
All right. So anybody who knows me knows definitely what my pick is. Chris, what is my pick? That's
Baseball.
right. Do you know why baseball sucks, guys? Because a fat guy like me can excel in it. And that is not a sport. All right. I'm sorry. Swinging around a piece of wood to hit a ball and run around a couple bases is not that athletic. I'm sorry. You know what? Babe Ruth, fat fuck, smoked billions of cigars. Guy did great in it. Like this is not a sport. This is so overrated. I don't get it. I don't get why people spend their hard-earned money watching this. I don't know why you would even want to watch it on TV. It's even more god awful, than live than actually watching it on TV, for Christ's sakes. And I don't get it. There's so many damn games that literally you can miss 20 games and it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Whereas you have better sports like hockey, football, any of those sports are much better sports for fans. Why do I go to a baseball game? I go to a baseball game to, eat peanuts, eat some hot dogs and drink some beer. That's all I'm doing. I'm passing out in the stand. That's what I'm doing.
And Cracker Jacks.
Oh yeah, well, peanuts and Cracker Jacks for sure, as the song goes. Baseball is just so overrated. I don't get it. I don't understand why people are so excited about it. Anyone can play it, and to me, if anybody can play it and excel really well at it, it's not really that great of a sport.
All right. Now we're going to Chris.
Okay, Jody, you probably don't know what sport I picked, but I picked.
I don't know.
I picked golf. I think golf is completely overrated. You know what? Much like Jody's saying, hey, fat guy can play baseball. Guess what? Guess who can play golf? Anybody. You can be fucking 5 years old. You can be 90. You can play golf. And it doesn't matter if you're fat. You can smoke. You can smoke while you're playing it. You can. So it's the same thing as baseball. You hit the ball with a stick. The only thing, at least in baseball, someone goes and gets the ball for you. In golf, you have to go fucking get your own ball. What a waste of time. There's absolute. What do you do for exercise? Like in golf, you literally drink beer while you're playing the game. While you're riding your cart around to the next hole, you're drinking beer. There's no exercise in this at all. It's a way overpriced sport. You've got to pay to go and play golf. It's completely boring to watch on TV. I don't know anybody who follows golf. Why you would want to watch this on TV? Look, he's going to hit the ball into the hole. You know what? It's also a sport, I think, where you set yourself up for failure. Like you watch these guys on TV. Hey, they get it in like 3 swings, and then you go on the golf course, and it's like fucking takes 20 to get it in the fucking hole.
Well, maybe if you're a shit golfer.
All right. Now we're going to Jason.
Jason's muted again.
Jason's muted again.
One of these days he's going to learn.
All right, there we go. All right, sorry.
So
it looks like we have a duplicate. So unfortunately, my sport is also golf. So we've heard a lot of the things that I was going to say, but like basically, I'll sum it down to this. Unlike you can't be a fat guy playing baseball anymore today. I'm sorry. There is actually more excitement in baseball than you could ever have in golf. I know I'm getting more into like the back and forth.
This is your point
the part, but basically, it is like how pathetic does your life have to be that like on a Sunday you would much rather sit at home and watch golf on the TV instead of like doing literally anything else. The only good things to ever come out of golf is essentially the drink known as the Arnold Palmer and the movie Happy Gilmore for lines like "The Price is Wrong, bitch." There's no redeeming factor to golf in my opinion. It is an archaic and very old and elitist and just an all-around bullshit sport. I can't think of anything more frustrating than like hitting a ball and screwing it up and then having to go off into the woods to try to find said ball. It is absolutely like it's not a good game. I don't understand people dressing up and getting all poncy. Yeah, maybe one of the redeeming qualities is that actually going around and driving around in a golf cart and drinking beer, although I don't think you can drink and drive regardless, so shame on you for even suggesting such a thing. But golf is just bad. It's bad.
You can drink while you're in the cart.
I would like to apologize because Jason's answers came in late, I just like whatever it is, it's fine. So I didn't realize that he and Chris had the same answer.
All right, I'd like to go first if possible.
I think that I would rather. Yeah, no, that's fine.
All right. So it's 2 against 1 here, obviously. I'm going to just lay out a couple things about golf. Number one, when I play golf, I usually walk. I don't actually take a cart. So there's the exercise there, guys. And if you've ever walked a full golf course that takes you 4 hours to do, or 3 hours, yeah, you'll know it is exercise. So obviously, neither one of you have ever stepped foot on a golf course and actually walked. As for drinking and driving, that is one of the only legal places you can drink and drive. Thank you very much. And I think that makes it fun. Anyway, you could also be stoned and drive a golf cart too, by the way, just to let you know, not that I would know of any such activities. As for baseball, yes, I do not necessarily disagree with you, Jason, on your point of you can't really be fat and play it anymore. I would suggest that pretty much every beer league around the world would disagree with you on this. However, between the two of them, yes, I agree that both of them are terrible when it comes to watching on TV. I think both of them are just beyond boring. But overall, I think baseball being really something that doesn't take a lot of skill, neither does golf for the most part, but it does require some skill and especially some direction and understanding of how the golf game plays. Whereas baseball, any idiot can play it. And really, to me, I don't understand it. I don't get it. And I don't understand why everybody thinks that this is a great sport.
Well, I got something to say about that, Jody.
Sure.
You say that anybody can play baseball. It's easy. You try hitting the ball that's coming at you at more than 90 miles an hour.
I have on many occasions.
You got to hit this ball. It's not even moving. You set it up nicely on the tee. You know exactly where the ball is. In fact, sometimes you still miss it. How is that even possible? I don't know. I don't play golf.
It requires skill to swim.
Baseball, though, a lot of it's way more entertaining to watch on TV than golf. I mean, what baseball has is statistics. Baseball is a game of numbers. It's a game of the manager.
Yeah, just what I want to do when I'm trying to enjoy a sport is listen to
the right
numbers.
players in at the right time. This guy's batting average versus this guy's putting lefties versus right-handed.
Jason's even laughing at your fucking answer, and he's got the same one.
It's a sport that requires much skill and much concentration and a lot of talent on the manager's position to know when to put the right pinch runner in, when to switch up the hitter, when to pull the pitcher, when to put in the.
You're making it sound way more interesting than it is, Chris. We already know that you're bullshitting.
Okay,
it's a game of numbers and statistics.
All right.
Okay,
We're gonna go to Jason.
Look, I will give Jody the thing about Chris's answer only because it just sounds like Chris has watched the movie Moneyball one too many times.
Yes, exactly.
To make that particular argument. But for me, baseball has yes, there are a lot of lows. I will give you that, but there are also a lot of highs, right? But there are a lot of highs, right?
There isn't. Something about a grand slam.
There's something about a grand slam knockout out of a park that makes the crowd go wild that is literally heard in the news media for days on end. Whereas someone nailing a hole in one, congratulations. You managed to get a ball in a friggin' hole and then people golf clap about it. There's no uproar and whatnot. So I think that there are exciting moments in baseball that we all talk about. Just look at the Blue Jays and the bat flip that happened, a couple of years back and whatnot. And I think that there are a lot more exciting moments within baseball than there are in golf. I cannot say that I have ever watched golf and ever been on the edge of my seat, oh my God, what's going to happen? You don't get bench clearers, when someone gets beamed by a freaking ball and everyone's wailing on each other and whatnot, and silly shenanigans and people doing the wave. So I think in terms of community-based games or of observation, I think baseball is 10 times better than what golf could ever be.
I think you have way more audience membership in baseball, which would make it more overrated. Golf is not overrated. Golf is golf. Everybody knows exactly what golf is. Golf is boring to watch.
That's why it's overrated.
Dad is throwing shade your way with Phoenix Open.
That's not me. That's Jeff.
Oh, it's Jeff. Anyways, I was just gonna say that first of all, I'm really annoyed at all of you guys for arguing it's not a physical sport because sports are not technically physical and there are lots of non-physical sports I love.
hour.
Sports don't count as
That
sports.
doesn't judge my rating because we all argued it. Anyways, I think that in general, I'd say that honestly, I love baseball, and I'm still giving the point to Jody. He just argued it the best. Like,
Just want to let you
Yeah,
know,
the
I
points,
still
he
think
was
you're doing great.
he was like, he argued that it has no physicality. He argued that anyone can play it, and I just think that in general, that he made the best argument.
Even though he's wrong.
Yeah, you want me to take that point away from you, Chris?
Oh,
Someone's power.
That would be an abuse of power, Eamon. Let's move on.
Anyway, let's move on.
Are you a Wall Street hedge fund manager changing the rules as we go?
Of course not.
Time to invest in GameStop.
I don't understand what the fuck that was about. Ashley's answer was football. What was the most influential band or musician in the history, with the exception of the Beatles?
Wait, sorry, is that no? No, it's the history question, right? That's not the music question. Okay,
no. Who was the most influential band / musician in history, with the exception of the Beatles? Because I feel like nobody would refute that. I'm gonna start with Chris. Oh, Chris, you want to go? Okay, Jason.
So I am going with Queen. So even though Queen is a lot more modern, and yeah, you could go back to like the roots of jazz and all kinds of other stuff and whatnot to pick in terms of the most influential. For me, it's most influential is much more, especially when it comes to music, is much more than just influencing other music. It's also about influencing pop culture as a whole. So we have a number of insane artists today, like Lady Gaga, Radiohead, Smashing Pumpkins, David Bowie, Kurt Cobain, that have all attributed Queen to their personal success, right? So that right there is in terms of them being influential. And then in terms of pop culture, look at video games and whatnot. They've been in multiple tracks across the Guitar Hero franchise. They had their own SingStar Queen on PS2 and PS3, which was just like 25 of their tracks. Their music has been featured in tons of movies like Flash Gordon, Highlander, Moulin Rouge, A Knight's Tale, and of course, who doesn't love Wayne's World, right? And then it's been on multiple TV shows, things like Glee and whatever it is. Queen is so pervasive within our popular culture. Everybody knows them. I think they are universally loved. They are an absolutely insane band. They have given us so much to enjoy, and artists who have attributed their success to them. So for me, the pick has to be Queen, hands down. And they are probably by far one of my all-time favorite bands ever since I was super young.
All right, let's go on to Chris. There you go. Jeff got it. Who wants to live forever?
Okay, my pick is actually Elvis Presley. You know why I chose this man? In the early 50s, he came out and just was an inspiration to teenagers at the time. They never had any musical experience like this before Elvis Presley. Like white America, let's face it, they had never heard rock music before him. It was mainly a black culture back then in the early 50s. When Elvis Presley got on stage in the Ed Sullivan Theater and he started gyrating his hips, it was a time that nobody had ever done that before, and girls were screaming, they were fainting in the crowd. It just set off a generation where, for the first time, parents and teenagers disagreed on music, because the parents thought, oh no, this music is too sexual. Like, I don't want my kids listening to this kind of music. That music is garbage. Before that was the era of like the big bands and orchestras, and you know what, parents, kids, everyone listened to the same music. This was the first time in history where there's actually a generation gap in the music that people listen to, where the teenagers were starting to rebel from their parents. And this was all started by Elvis, and rock and roll wouldn't be the same today without this man.
Great
I can't
argument.
hear anybody. Oh, there we go. Is it me now, Eamon?
Yep.
Okay. I gotta throw out some names here, guys. I think both of your picks were pretty good. Chuck Berry. We all know Chuck Berry. We all know Elvis Presley, Little Richard, the Beatles even. What do these guys all have in common? I'll tell you. Jimi Hendrix. They've all gone on to say Jimi Hendrix greatly influenced them.
Jimi Hendrix influenced the Beatles, did he?
What's that?
Jimi Hendrix influenced the Beatles?
In the later life, yes, absolutely. These are all people that have gone on record, and Beatles, I'm saying all the individual members. I'm not necessarily saying the Beatles in general. He is really the king of rock. This is a guy who had great songwriting, great guitar ability as well, and he influenced many musicians. There's people from Nirvana all the way to Foo Fighters, even bands now and bands back then that all attribute a lot of what they've done to Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix was the original god of rock, essentially. And for when I look at the question in what I believe is the interpretation of the question is influential, I'm going on influencing other artists, not necessarily influencing the world. I think both guys have very good points, especially Queen and obviously Elvis Presley, respectively. I think both of them did really good jobs of doing certain things. But I think when you boil it down, when you look back at what their influences were, Jimi Hendrix is really high on that list, and I think he was a great musician and a great songwriter.
Why don't we just start with the rebuttal with you, since you were already going?
Sure. Queen, even though I do like Queen, there's a lot of people that don't, but I do like Queen. I wouldn't necessarily say they influenced a lot of things. I think they definitely stood up to some social injustices that were happening. But influenced wise, I don't know if they necessarily influenced as many people as, let's say, Elvis Presley did. Chris, moving on to Chris's, Elvis Presley definitely was influential. I will not disagree with Chris at all on that. However, even Elvis Presley mentioned that Hendrix was somebody that he looked up to and admired as somebody who influenced certain things in his life, such as philosophies and stuff like that as well. So overall, I just think out of the three picks here, I think mine is probably the strongest, and then obviously Chris's would probably be second best. Jason, I'm sorry, I can't say Queen really influenced us as much as I think you think they did. But anyway, I'll let you decide that.
All right.
You know what? What I think? I think Jody just kind of made up his last story about Jimi Hendrix influencing all of these artists like the Beatles and.
I thought you'd say that. I actually have notes on this.
Jimi Hendrix was a fantastic guitar player.
There's right there, but
he was a fantastic guitar player. He wasn't much else. He wasn't a fantastic singer. He died. He's part of the 27 Club. He died when he was 27 years old.
This is a history question, right?
Much later than that. Also, you know what? I take a little offense where when Jody said that Jimi Hendrix was literally the king of rock. You know what? Elvis Presley literally is the king of rock. That's his nickname. You stole it and put it on Jimi Hendrix.
I'm sorry that he was mislabeled all those years, Chris.
As for Queen being influential, I agree that they're a very good band. And you know what? Rather than them influencing things like Wayne's World and all these movies, like you said, it's my belief that Wayne's World actually made Queen popular again. Nobody really listened to Bohemian Rhapsody before Wayne's World came out, and then everyone was like, "Oh, I love Queen," and then
I disagree.
The Queen album, and everybody bought it. That was after Wayne's World.
I think Bohemian Rhapsody was introduced to people because of Wayne's World, but to say that nobody listened to that song previously.
So I won't deny Jody his Jimi Hendrix in terms of his influence, right? But for me, we talked about interpretation of the question. I'm talking about influence as a whole, not just other artists, right? So I'll give you your points on Hendrix as in terms of influencing artists, but not in terms of overall popular culture as a whole. Elvis, for me, same thing. Really good, solid answers in terms of Elvis, but for me, Elvis is about right place, right time. It was right around the time that TV and color TV was coming out. You have ultra conservative American culture from way back then, and that's why girls were swooning at whatever it was that he was. It's about a matter of right place, right time, and when we look at today, right, and people who are influencing still today, where's Elvis? There's literally fine. Tom Hanks has an Elvis movie coming out, at some point. But other than that, and Forrest Gump, Elvis has next to nothing. Hendrix, people know about the things that he's played and whatnot, but in terms of what is his influence still today in popular culture, you don't hear Hendrix all that often, except for discussions like this about who he's influenced. What about Queen? Queen is everywhere, influencing all kinds of things. It's on friggin' drag racers or not drag drag queens are doing total odes to Queen and dressing up as Freddie Mercury and all kinds of stuff. Queen is so pervasive in today's culture still today, and that's why they are the best.
You know what? There's still an Elvis Festival in Collingwood, Ontario, every single year. That is only one Elvis festival.
How many people have heard of Collingwood, Ontario? Get out of here.
I actually like Jeff here. He pointed out
Dylan, one of thousands across the world.
Mozart, which
Dylan was my second pick.
And I'm surprised nobody picked Dylan, actually. But I'm gonna have to go with. I'm sorry, Jason, you're out, but I have to pick Chris.
Oh, I think there was some misjustice there. I'm not going to go any further on that, but I think you made some great points.
It's about influence. They're still influencing today. So,
but see, without Elvis, there would not be any rock.
Rock. As Jeff just said, I would have voted for Queen there.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think we would still have rock without Elvis. I think Elvis is more a circumstance of, like I said, right place, right time, and just being very in your face. But in terms of influence and still influencing today, I think
I'd
Queen
be lying
hands
if
down.
I said I
Elvis introduced rock to the masses.
If I didn't say I regret it.
I don't know, man. Radio was around before television. There was a lot of rock artists that were influencing people long before Elvis was, before he came on the scene.
Name one.
Well,
I kind of regret that, but I think it's too late at this point.
Nope, that's fine. It's all good.
Okay, so just with the score, so Jason is mathematically eliminated from the speed round, but he can still make his argument this round and take the point. Jody or Chris would still have to earn it. So let's go from here.
I was hoping for Jason in the speed round.
But you want to tell us what Ashley's pick was here first?
Yes, Ashley's pick was Chuck Berry.
That's a good pick.
You brought up Chuck Berry. So
I thought Chuck Berry, because you started with Chuck Berry, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be rough. And then you.
No, the reason why I did that was to do my lead up here. Which obviously went on deaf ears, but that's fine.
You ready?
Anyways, for the wild card question, imagine you're in a cold night. It's a cold night and you're at home, and you can make any food. What is the food you make, or what's the food you have?
Can we start with the eliminated guy?
Yes.
All right. So for me, it's beef stew, hands down. Especially on these terribly cold Canadian winters, there is nothing like after a long day of shoveling snow or being outside, and just sitting down to a big pot of piping hot beef stew. It just warms the cockles of your heart and every fiber of your being. Thick, beautiful gravy with or without dumplings. Awesome, autumn vegetables and stuff like that, like carrots and potatoes and parsnips and all that type of stuff. Nice, big, beautiful pieces of beef. To me, it is the epitome of a cold day meal. And I don't think it gets much better, there's all kinds of things that are out there, but for me, 100% it has to be, it's got to be beef stew or some type of stew variant. And I'll just leave it at that because it's just that damn good.
All right. Chris.
Okay. My choice here is going to be French onion soup. After I've been outside, freezing my butt off, my hands are cold. whatever. I love a hot bowl of French onion soup. Just something about it. The caramelized onions, the beef broth. Usually it's made with a little bit of white or red wine in there to deglaze the pan. And it's got this crostini on top and a layer of cheese. And there's nothing more satisfying than just taking your spoon and breaking through that hot layer of cheese. Even the sound it makes when you ting your spoon on the top and break the cheese. It's just a moment where the cheese breaks and the steam starts coming up. It gets in your face, and you just can't wait to dig into that broth. And once you do, you feel so warm. You forget everything else. You forget the cold. You forget that you were just outside, and you immerse yourself into this French onion soup, which is just awesome. That's all I gotta say.
That was great.
That was a good presentation. I like that one. Points to you, Chris, for that. That was well done. I want to go over to Chris's house and have some of that soup because it sounded good.
Yeah, you should write like descriptions on menus, I think.
Yeah, I think you really should. My pick was Ashley's first pick, but she didn't get it because I did. So I don't actually know what her new pick is.
It was supposed to be Stu, ironically.
Oh, there you go. So I have something similar to Jason's. However, guys, I'm going to paint a quick picture here. You've been out shoveling that driveway. It's taking you 2 hours. The snow just keeps coming down, and it's annoying. We're cold, or we can't feel anything. My guts even hurt from being so cold. You know what I throw in there? Some chili, baby. Do you know why? Because chili not only is succulent, it tastes great. You can spice it up to give you that extra heat on those really, really cold days. And you know what? It goes great. It goes great with a lot of things. You can have it with bread. You can have it on crackers if you want to. You can do whatever you want with it. You can also throw the cheese in there, which was part of Chris's selling point. Was the cheese on his. Chili itself is a double hit. It's not only is it a hot steaming awesomeness, but you can also add extra heat to it. You can certainly add extra heat to other things, but you know what? Chili just makes sense. Chili is the thing that just warms your cockles of your entire body. And you know what? Within seconds of eating chili, you automatically feel the heat. You feel the beautiful wave of heat coming down on you.
Yes, because a couple of you guys have mentioned this already. What the fuck are cockles?
Cockles. They're down at the bottom of your belly there.
Oh, okay.
They are.
I believe it's actually a slang term, but it's like
Probably.
Are cockles in your
cockles
belly?
are real
I'm gonna
though.
Google this.
They are real. They're like glands, I think. But anyway, I just like using the word because I love saying cockles.
Yeah.
It's a great word.
All right. We're going to start
Well,
with Jason.
So, Chris, your French onion soup, you described my meal and you took out the beef and the carrots and the potato and everything else. And what you have described is beef stew without all the main ingredients.
That's a very good point.
You took an amazing meal and just added a piece of fucking bread and a bit of cheese that you put under a broiler. And I'm sorry, like the crackling part that you're describing, that should come from, what's that? I forget the name of the dessert now, but the dessert where you put the sugar and whatnot, that's the only thing that should be cracking. Cheese should not crack. I do not want to crack a tooth on cheese like the way you have described. You have taken beef stew, taken out its good parts, slapped some cheese and bread on it, and that's what you've given us. Chili. Okay, I'll give you chili. Chili is a really solid answer, and it's really hard to beat, especially with the adding of the heat. I can't win anyway, so I really have not much skin in the game. I wish I had thought of chili. Chili's probably honestly one of the things that I enjoy the most after a super cold day. And I don't think it takes as long to cook as a stew, right? A good stew can take like hours and hours.
It depends on how you do your chili. My chili takes about 8 hours.
Chili too, and I think you can have more variations on chili. So I'm kind of arguing for Jody at this point because I think his answer is technically better than mine. French onion. I love a good French onion soup. the things that you've described, the way I honestly like the way that you described it, especially with the caramelized onions and all that type of stuff. But
You did a great job.
I think there's way more diversity and things that you can do to a chili that to make it exciting.
serving up.
Do different things, even serving it in like a bread bowl, like we used to do at Filthy McNasty's. Dave, if you remember that way back in the day, doing the bread, the chili in the bread bowl at Filthy's.
I just heard Dave
way
made
back.
a pizza.
So yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to move on to Chris.
You know what? When you're eating, you eat with your mouth, you eat with your body, and you also eat with your eyes. I think a nice bowl of French onion soup is visually stunning. When you see it sitting on the table with the cheese melting over the side, it just
Until you get rid of the top.
gets you salivating. You just want to dig into it. When you look at a bowl of stew, it just looks like a bowl of stew. It looks like a bowl of mush. Same with chili. Chili just looks like chili. Once you take a bite, it still looks like chili. When you take a bite of French onion soup, you move some of the cheese. Now it looks a little different. Oh, now you see the crouton. Oh,
So are you arguing the layer of cheese or the whole dish?
Yeah, I think he's arguing the layers.
Like it's an experience eating French onion soup, whereas the others
Sounds it at your place.
mundane, everyday meals. It's nothing exciting. French onion soup is so versatile as well.
All right,
It
we're
can
moving
be-
on to Jody.
It can be an entree.
Hold
Jody.
on. Let him tell me how versatile it is.
You can use it. You can have it as a side soup. You can, there's just so many ways.
That's
you
it,
can-
eh? Just side soup? That's it? You're
I
practically
like how
making
you
me work.
relegated it to a side soup, whereas normally it would be a side salad.
I'm
That's how
saying it could be
disappointing.
a
That's
side-
how
It
disappointing.
could be
you
the
made
whole
French onion
meal.
soup.
All right, Jody.
It's however you want to enjoy it.
All right. I really don't think I have to argue this much. Jason pretty much kind of did most of the stuff I was going to say. It's a thing that really just people, when they think of it, they go, you know what? That works. That works in winter. It's a good way to warm up. It's a good way to get that nice hearty feeling in your body when you're done. The spice, you can obviously, if it was a particularly cold day, you can throw some extra spice in there. You know what? It's so versatile when it comes to sides and stuff like that. I got 11 seconds and I'm taking it. And as for that, I'm done.
I have 11 seconds and I'm taking it. Therefore, I am
Just
done.
to talk about nothing because I have nothing else to talk about.
Well,
All
I'm
right.
sorry, I didn't go with the clear, obvious choice of it could also be a side soup.
It could be a main soup or a side soup.
Ways.
Yeah, it could be a main
To
soup
enjoy it.
or a side soup, guys. You can have soup everywhere.
All right. So I love French onion soup, but
It's good.
I don't think it was as well argued. Jody, I love chili and I loved your arguments, but I think Jason argued it just a bit better with beef stew.
Yes.
You didn't even argue beef stew. You
I
argued
will
mine.
take the pity point, even though I helped argue.
That
for
is-
it.
Yeah, I'm
definitely
sorry.
a
I'm
good
sorry,
point.
Jason. Thinking back on it now, I would have given the history point to you, but can't change things.
It's all good. It's all good. We can't change history.
Yeah,
Okay.
very fitting. All right. With that, we move on to Chris and Jody.
Woohoo!
So we're just
After
Jason
this
gets to
quick-
stay around though, right?
After this
Yeah.
quick break, because I need to go to the washroom.
okay. Quick little break here. We'll get set up. We'll take here. I'll take Eamon off screen for a minute, and I'll just come back. So
Oh, there's
There we
Dave.
go.
hey, how's it going? So we'll go into the speed round. We'll take Jason off screen, so it'll just be Jody and Chris.
Pleasure, guys. Thank you so much.
No, stay though. Stay.
Let's say
I'm gonna stay, but
All right.
this was awesome.
they'll
trying to
still
get
be able
my
to hear
lighting
you
so-
and everything. They just
I think I'm gonna go make some stew.
make some.
I think you
beef
should go make some chili.
stew. Is it a cold day in Quebec?
Oh, it's brutal today.
It's
You know-
it's Canada.
You know what though, Jason? Don't be making that French onion soup because you can only have it as a side or as a main.
Yeah, I'm gonna
You
have
can't
it
do
as a
anything
side
else
my
with it.
salad.
Can't be anything else. It's illegal.
Eamon, go take that break. If you're taking that break, go take it.
Yeah, go take the damn break. We're live. If you got a
shit,
piddle or
that's
make,
too
you
far.
go do it.
I'll start by making a French onion soup, and
You're
then
very
I'll just
orange
add
today,
beef and
by the way,
carrots and potatoes
Dave.
to it, and turn it into a stew.
It could be a side soup, main soup.
It's just so versatile. That's exactly
Oh,
what he did.
You can serve
It
it
can be a side soup, and it's just so versatile.
I'm glad you guys like my answer so much.
I liked your description though. Your description
that was
spot
Your
on.
description,
It was like every one of those recipe sites, where it's like 20 pages of like history of like where they got the recipe from before you actually get to the recipe. That was really well done.
Chris would be the one that does the intro. Chris, you should write for like Uber Eats or something.
I have a few comments about that history round about the most influential musician. Number one, Chris, how the hell did you not bring up the point that Queen's most famous cover is "Crazy Little Thing Called Love," which is Elvis? So for that, you should not have won that round alone. Number two, Bob Dylan would have been a good choice because
I was thinking of Bob Dylan.
he won a Nobel Prize in literature. The only musician I think that did. Bob Dylan did folk, country, rock, power ballads. You can go through everything that Bob Dylan's done genre wise. Whereas Elvis or any other, like even Queen, they have a sound, right? Those guys have a sound like. When you hear a Queen song, you're like, oh, that's Queen's sound. But Bob Dylan was able to write songs where other people did them too, like Jimi Hendrix. What's his most famous cover? It's a Bob Dylan song, right? So, there's all these different things with Bob Dylan that I think would have been a better answer.
Well, a lot of people covered Bob Dylan songs.
I had 2 hours and I went with what I love. So
Nothing wrong with that.
The reason I didn't choose Bob Dylan is honestly, I think Bob Dylan's a great songwriter. But I don't think he's a great singer. I think other people do Bob Dylan songs better than he does.
But that's even a better point for why he's even more influential.
That's perfect for influenced.
Yeah,
maybe.
So in retrospect, I should have picked Queen, but can't change it.
No, it's all
okay. All right, so speed round. Let's get going here, and so everybody gets what is it? A minute opening statement, and then there's a 30-second.
Is this the one where it's like two answers only?
I don't know. It depends on Eamon.
Or is it we just get to blurt out an answer and argue it?
Yeah, you just get to blurt out an answer.
Perfect.
You get to blurt out an answer and you make an argument.
I'm gonna predict Chris is gonna say Primus sometime during the speed round.
Hey, Primus is a good band.
Okay.
All right, let's get going.
Speaking of Primus, this speed round will be music based. If Google Doc would load, I would read you the question.
I can't hear him.
Yeah, he's lagging.
He's lagging.
I am.
Yeah, just give it a second. Now try again, Eamon.
Hey.
Okay, go ahead.
What was the best song written for a movie?
Oh. Best song written for a movie. Wow.
Philadelphia.
Whoever wants to go first.
I can think of songs in movies, but I can't think of why they were.
Think of movies that have won Oscars.
I wish I was in this.
Music songs that won Oscars.
Chris, are you bowing out of this one? Because I'll bow out if you do.
Think of songs that won Oscars.
Oh, that's the problem. I don't really care. Damn it.
This is not a speedy start to the speed round.
And can I give you my answer?
Well, it's not my fault they don't have answers.
I know. You asked the question.
What did you choose, Chris?
I chose Adele singing Skyfall.
Oh, that's what I would have picked.
Gross.
You know what?
All right, go right ahead.
The song was very popular. Millions and millions, billions of downloads on Spotify. It made the movie. Adele actually performed this song at the Oscars. The song won an Oscar for the movie. The lyrics were great. Adele's voice is great. It's just it was a fantastic song. It fit the movie perfectly. Whenever I hear that song now, I think of James Bond. It's just those two go hand in hand. Great song, great artist, won an Oscar.
Okay. I'll do something different. Shallow.
All right.
So Shallow is the song from A Star Is Born. It was written by obviously Lady Gaga and the guy that was in there with it. I can't remember his name. Yeah, this is a song that every soccer mom was playing in her fucking minivan for the last like 2 years. I hear it all the time. It's just this to go with his point of Skyfall. Skyfall, in my opinion, is one of the worst songs for a fucking Bond movie ever. But certainly there are some exceptions to that. But Shallow, I think, because of the fact that it was just so mainstream, every soccer mom loved it. Every woman I know knows this fucking song for the most part and likes it, with the exception of maybe Ashley. But overall, I just think it was a well-written song. It definitely got the point of the movie correctly. Which obviously about abuse and stuff like that. But it's overall, I just think it was a well-done movie well-done song that really portrayed the vision of the movie, I guess.
All right. We're gonna have rebuttals.
Do you need a rebuttal? Or
Lady Gaga.
I kind of do, yeah.
Okay. Lady Gaga is not really much of an actress. I didn't enjoy her performance in A Star Is Born. Bradley Cooper did a great job in that movie, but of course he's an actor. The fact that the song was in the movie is just because she was in the movie and she had to do it.
She was the star of the movie, and they had to do a bunch of original songs because that's the movie. It's about fucking musicians.
Yeah, it's about music. Oh, fuck it. I'm giving this point to Jody for that 1 point alone.
Wow. Wow, you just triggered him.
Damn it.
Anyway, wow. Okay. I'll take the point. I'm not gonna lie.
So the point goes to Jody?
I guess so.
Yeah. You're welcome, Jody.
Thank you. I don't even know what triggered him, but anyway. All right, Eamon, are you calmed down?
Yes.
All right, good.
All right.
What was the best use of music? What was the best use of music in a TV show?
Again, going with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Holy, that theme song. Everybody knows it.
No. Sorry, I should specify. Like in a scene, in a show, not a theme song.
Well, you didn't say that.
Well, now you say.
Sorry, I should have specified.
Now it's saying it.
Yeah.
Move on. Keep going.
So he wants a song that's not a theme song.
Right. It's like in the actual show itself.
I don't know. Just give it to him. It's fine.
I'm going to go with South Park and Chef singing Chocolate Salty Balls.
All right, he wins.
All right.
I don't need to hear it.
Chris wins with his chocolate salty balls.
Riveting argument.
I'm trying to even it up a bit because I kind of won easily on the first one there. I want Chris to have a sporting chance.
All right. For music, what genre of music is the most ear-gratingly unlistenable?
Death metal. You know why?
Noise.
It's death metal is just pure noise. It's guitar chords. Every song starts off the same, and then the voice, the death metal voice. Every death metal voice is the same. It's Cookie Monster. Every death
He's
metal
not
song,
wrong about that recently.
every death metal song is guitars, then like Cookie Monster, then some screams, and then some more guitars, and the song is over. Completely unlistenable. Every song's the same. Every singer sounds the same. They're all bad.
All right, and Joe, do you pick noise rock?
Noise rock, yeah. You know what's more irritating than heavy metal or whatever the hell you were just arguing? Because honestly, I don't even get what you're picking. But anyway, noise rock. And if you've ever heard noise rock basically can't use any actual instrument. It has to use crap. It has to use like banging lids and fucking, grating chalkboards and stuff like this. Like it's just so garbage to listen to. You can't relax to it. You can't enjoy it. There's nothing about it that's interesting. It's just garbage. It literally is. If you put a bunch of things in a blender, they can call that a song. You can blend an iPhone and it's like, oh, that's a noise rock song. It's like, it's literally, it's the baseball of genres. It is terrible. Terrible.
Name like one noise rock band. I've never heard of them.
Roflio.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you, Chris, but just because you haven't heard of it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Well, I'm just saying.
I could even name the genre. When you said noise, I could tell you noise rock.
But isn't there a popular band that's their whole premise, that all they do is just make random noises?
Name the band.
I'm trying to remember. I will find it and I'll get back to you.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. And I'm not saying
anyways, point goes to Jody.
the point for it to be in a genre, somebody has to like it. Like it's.
Here's the thing about death metal. Chris made good points about death metal.
I love the cushion
right now, but classic death metal is good. Whereas there's
some classic death metal.
Yeah. Death metal's been around for at least a couple decades.
Okay. Like, what's your favorite classic death metal band?
Anyway,
Slipknot.
Slipknot's not death metal.
I can see
No,
some relation to that, but
wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say they're mainstream at all when it comes to that. But anyway,
Let's keep things moving.
Okay, Go was the name of the band.
Okay Go is not a noise band. But anyway,
I don't know.
I wouldn't agree with that at all. They use instruments.
Yeah. What song is the most synonymous with sports?
Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Okay, you're
Go ahead, Jody.
I don't need to say anymore. It's synonymous with baseball. Everybody knows the fucking song. It's like, give me some peanuts with Cracker Jacks, whatever. I just think, it's a song that every time somebody hears something like that song, or they want to think of a song that goes with a sport, then obviously that would be the one that comes up really as being one of the popular ones.
Okay.
I'm going to Stompin' Tom Connor. The hockey song, obviously. This Stompin' Tom is played at literally every single Leafs game. I haven't been to a game where I haven't heard it. And that song is about the good old hockey game.
Sing it.
There's nothing more synonymous with a sport than the good old hockey game by Stompin' Tom. Great Canadian sport, great Canadian band. Take Me Out to the Ball Game. That's not actually played during the games. Nobody plays that song.
Does it have to be played during the games? I didn't think that was part of the question.
No,
is it?
Hey, he's right about that. And B, yeah, it is.
Sorry,
I've been to many baseball games where they play that song.
Nobody.
I've heard that song at every baseball game I've been to. Admittedly, I've only been to 3, but but I have heard it on all 3 of them.
That's 100%.
They always.
That's 100% of the times I've been there, guys.
Well,
Chris's point, the hockey song is
a much better song.
Can
But I think baseball is obviously much more widespread.
Can I give the point to no one? Because both of you fucking sucked at this round.
What?
Okay.
Whoa!
What are you being so harsh for?
I disagree. The question was, what's a song that identifies with the sport? And I think both of those examples were exactly what you're looking
Both
for.
of those examples are good examples, but their argument was trash.
I don't know if that's the only thing you can grade on, but
True.
Anyway,
I'm gonna fucking pick. So I'm gonna pick Jody's because I've never even heard of fucking Chris's. So how is this synonymous?
You've never heard of Chris's?
What?
What drugs are you on, boy?
I've never been to. I've been to. The only time I've been to a Leafs game was once when I was like 8. So maybe that's why.
You never heard of Tom's hockey song? Are you Canadian?
Well, it's the good old hockey game. On
Best game ever played. Yeah,
that's a great song.
Okay, so the score is now Jody 6, Chris 3. Chris, there's not enough rounds for
I win.
Up. So Jody has won.
Let's go over the last 2 rounds, anyways.
Oh,
Let's just get a quick answer for the last 2 rounds, just for fun.
Okay, we'll just get a quick answer, and you got to choose right away.
All right,
no debating it. Just give an answer.
We'll just leave here. So we
put Jason in for this too.
Yeah.
So I tried to find the best music for history, but I couldn't. So I picked, what is the best question from Trivial Debates Past?
What
best question?
Favorite dinosaur?
Well, I think Jason might have a hard time with that one.
Yeah, Jason would have a hard time with that, I think.
Yeah. What is your favorite dinosaur?
I would give that one to Chris because that was
a
question.
Yeah, I think so too.
Anyway.
It was a bad question. I had like 15 minutes before the show to get it written.
Move on.
All All right. You next one.
Okay, so I took the wild card from the main round and I flipped it on its head. What's the best food for a hot day out in the sun?
Ice cream. Holy shit. What else?
Watermelon.
What other choice are you going to choose?
No, ice cream gets all sticky
you'll
and
see.
terrible in the hot weather.
It's popsicle.
Jason?
You know what? How many times do you drive and buy
Both of those are too sticky.
Dairy Delight down the road from here, and there's fucking a lineup like 20 miles long.
I've been to
Every
Dairy
Dairy
Delight.
Queen you go by in the summer, there's lineups outside. Ice cream is the best for a hot day.
Yeah, but you know what? The problem is dealing with those fucking lines. I don't want to line up for 2 hours just to get a friggin' ice cream. I would much rather go home.
I
pop
can
it
go
my
into
freezer,
any store and get
and
mine.
eat my popsicle and be done with
I
the
can go in any store and buy ice cream too if I want to. I
Not
just
good
want it
ice
from
cream, but
from
anyway.
the place where I get it on a cone or mixed with a
Watermelon's great. You can give it to everybody
So much stuff you can do with ice cream. You can put sprinkles on it. You can
turn
put
it into a
peanuts.
drink. It's not all
There's literally
sticky on your
trucks
hands.
driving around in the summer that sell
It doesn't
ice
matter.
cream.
I won anyway.
You can make popsicles out of anything,
That's true.
including onion soup.
Including onion soup. Exactly. See, Chris, you missed one.
But it would be disgusting to have an onion soup popsicle.
I'm not denying that, but you could do it if you so wanted.
Can I just say that it's hard to pick for this one, but I would probably say if I have to be, I'm gonna pick ice cream.
Yeah.
If I had to pick
doesn't
something,
matter. He didn't
I'd
win.
pick ice cream.
Yeah. So again, the final score: Jody 6, Chris 3, Jason 1. That
You
means
kept
that
Jason's number up there during the entire speed round, and it was kind of sad.
That's okay. I don't mind.
let's give it. Let's congratulate Jody.
I'd just like to say, guys, I think it was a very good round, but clearly I am the winner.
You are the
Well,
champion.
Because golf sucks.
You're the champion, but don't. But Queen's not influential.
Oh no! Yes, why
I didn't say
did you
he
do that?
wasn't influential.
How?
I just said that. Well, okay. First of all, I regret my decision, and secondly, at the time, I was like, in history, I think that you can't deny the fact that Elvis basically brought rock into the mainstream.
All
He
the
did.
answers were good. I just think I argued my point better.
No.
I think
in
Yeah.
terms of the
I think you
the
did argue it
N-word
better.
influence.
And again, I fucking regret it. All right,
It's all
but
good.
I
Don't worry
picked
about
it, and
It's okay.
A ton of fun.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. We're just.
This is just a little buddy show on YouTube. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, nobody's gonna actually watch us except for Jeff, who's watching.
Hey.
That's not true. We do have people that watch it.
Also, Dad, if you need me to hit you up with some composition stuff, I can do that because your theme song is like public domain stuff, and I hear it all the time. So,
What? Are you talking about the Funktown?
yeah.
Well, if
Oh,
you
we
want to,
can.
if you want to record us a new original theme song, I would gladly play it.
All right.
Dude, I like the funk. The funk is great.
I like
I
when
like-
Chris
I
dances
would like
to
to.
the funk.
I would like to see some Mader funk though. That would be.
Yeah.
That would be good.
You want to collaborate? We can make a song together.
Oh, I think you guys
not in a
should.
million years would I ever let that happen.
Damn it.
All right, folks. This was a ton of fun. I have to get
Okay,
going.
Eamon,
All
take us
right.
away.
Go to the mission, Jason.
Close us out, Eamon.
Follow us on Facebook and YouTube. All links and information can be found in the description. Make sure to check out our other podcast, Long Living Podcast, where we read Star Trek and movie reviews, and Super Mader Bros Podcasting, which is more of a reality TV type deal. We also have what was it where you say you read like Star Trek episodes?
That's on Live Long and Podcast. So all our Star Trek stuff's on Live Long and Podcast.
Yeah. Okay. And until the next time, I will see you later because I am not saying
Jeff's
that.
playing us out.
Jeff's taking us away with his
Jeff's playing us out.
unplugged.